Tonight, you'll lock your front door. One turn of the wrist, and the dark is on the other side. You won't think about it. For more than 99% of the time humans have existed, that door wasn't there. No walls, no locks, nothing at all between you and whatever was breathing out in the dark. So here's a question almost nobody asks. We won. We built the walls. We made the night safe. So why do so many of us still lie awake in a silent house listening for something? The answer goes back millions of years. And the strange part is, the door solved one fear by quietly building another, one we still can't name. Your earliest ancestors didn't sleep on the ground. They slept in trees. Every night they wove a fresh platform of branches high up in the canopy, and that platform was the only thing keeping them alive. The African savanna after dark is nothing like the calm place most people picture. Plenty of nights there's no moon at all, just total blackness, and sound moving through the grass below you. Leopards hunt in that blackness, and they are completely silent. Hyenas work in packs and crack bone with their jaws. Lions circle. Your ancestors were prey, and they knew it every single night. Every climb up bought them one more morning. Then, around 1.8 million years ago, something changed. The ancestor scientists call Homo erectus came down out of the trees. Their bodies had grown bigger and heavier over generations, built for walking in open lands, and the old tree-climbing body was disappearing. The predators hadn't disappeared with it, so picture them, a group lying out in the open, nothing overhead. Every rustle in the grass, a question with two answers. One of the most famous early human skulls we've ever found belongs to a child. There are two small punctures in the top of it. Scientists measured the spacing between them, and it matches the fangs of a leopard. On the ground, that was just a way to die. But then something changed the equation. At Wonderwerk Cave in South Africa, researchers found ash and burned bone. It was fire, carried 30 meters deep into the rock over 1 million years ago. Someone carried that in, kept it alive, guarded it through the night. Most large predators won't cross an open flame, and so, for the first time, your ancestors had a wall made of light, and it held until morning. Here's the first thing the fire gave you that you'd never guess. Behind that flame, humans could finally sleep deeply. Up in the trees, deep sleep got you killed because you'd fall. So primates slept the way they still do, surfacing every few minutes, never fully under. On the ground, behind fire, the brain could drop all the way into slow wave sleep, the deepest stage, the one where it clears out waste, locks in memory, repairs itself. We sleep fewer total hours than any other primate now, but far, far deeper. A lot of researchers think that's one of the reasons human intelligence grew so fast. Safe nights bought real sleep, and real sleep rebuilt the brain. But the fear that kept them up in those trees never really left. It's why you flinch at a noise in a quiet house. It's why your mind won't switch off at 2 a.m., even when every door is locked and nothing is wrong. Your body spent millions of years learning that dark means death. A few generations of electric light haven't been enough to talk it out of that the lock holds. The wiring underneath it never got the message. The fire bought safety. The next question took hundreds of thousands of years to answer. What do you build once you're finally safe enough to think past tonight? The first clue is almost absurdly old. At Kalambo Falls in Zambia, archaeologists pulled 2 wooden logs out of waterlogged ground, shaped and notched to lock together. They're 476,000 years old, which means they weren't even made by our species. Some earlier human, hundreds of thousands of years before Homo sapiens existed, looked at 2 logs, pictured a thing that didn't exist yet, carved a notch to join them, and built it. Then, 23,000 years ago, a small group camped on the shore of a lake in what's now northern Israel. Soon after, the lake rose and silt sealed the whole camp underwater, which is exactly why we still have it. Archaeologists call it Ohalo II. Inside one of the 6 brushwood huts, under that seal of silt, they found the oldest bed ever discovered. Bundles of grass, gathered and laid out in a ring around a hearth. Someone chose that grass, arranged it, and slept there. The floor told the bigger story. Researchers mapped over 60,000 fragments across the sealed surface. And the space had been divided up on purpose. Tool making near the entrance, food prep around a flat stone set into the far wall. Different corners for different work, 23,000 years ago. These were still people who moved with the seasons, but they were already thinking about the inside of a space, the way you think about which corner of your flat the bed goes in. The instinct to shape a room around yourself is far older than the room, and the moment humans made that room permanent, something happened that nobody saw coming. It cost them their bodies, and then it cost them something worse. About 12,000 years ago, humans stopped moving for good. They learned to farm, and they started building to last. One of the best studied early settlements anywhere is Çatalhöyük, pronounced Çatalhöyük in what's now Turkey. At its peak, around 6,700 BCE, it held between 3,000 to 8,000 people, one of the largest communities on Earth at the time. And it had no streets, no external doors, no ground-level windows. Every house was packed wall to wall against the next, no gaps. To cross the settlement, you walked over the rooftops. To get into your own home, you climbed onto the roof and dropped down through a hole in the ceiling, the same hole that vented the smoke from the hearth below. The door, the thing your whole night depends on, hadn't been invented here yet. Archaeologists have dug at Çatalhöyük for decades, and here's what they've never found. A single house that belonged to someone rich or powerful. No palace, no bigger home. Across thousands of people and centuries of living there, every home was basically the same. The DNA was stranger still. Scientists tested skeletons buried under the floors, which was normal there, and found that people sharing a household often weren't related by blood at all. They'd chosen each other. Bone analysis showed men and women ate the same food and carried the same physical wear. Equality from every angle you could measure. And they worked to keep it that way, using the walls themselves. People replastered their homes obsessively, sometimes dozens of layers deep. At some point, the whole settlement standardized it. Same material, same finish, every house. Researchers think this was deliberate. Make every home identical, and you erase any sign that one family is doing better than another. They plastered equality into the walls, so nobody could see who was getting ahead. Thousands of people building their entire architecture so that no one could pull away from the group. The wall here wasn't there to keep neighbors out. It was there to keep everyone level, which makes what came next almost unbearable. Because the wall was about to switch sides, settling down looked like a victory. The skeletons say otherwise. When people started farming, the body paid first. The diet narrowed to wheat and barley, heavy in carbohydrate, thin on everything else. Tooth decay climbed to levels that had never showed up in the record before. Jaws shrank over generations, but the teeth didn't shrink fast enough. So mouths crowded, and infections became a routine fact of being alive. The work was relentless. Hours kneeling to grind grain, hauling stone and timber. Farmer skeletons show brutal joint damage in the spine, the knees, the toes. And after all that labor, something strange happened to the bones. Researchers at Cambridge found that hunter-gatherer leg bones from 7,000 years ago were as dense as a wild orangutan's are today. Early farmer bones were about 20% weaker. Less walking, less climbing, less daily load. And the skeleton quietly stops building what it doesn't think it needs anymore. But here's the part that should sting. A later Cambridge study compared the arm bones of Neolithic farming women to elite modern rowers. The farming women's arms were 11 to 16% stronger. A woman grinding grain on a stone every day, thousands of years ago, was physically stronger than an athlete who trains for a living now. That was the cost you can hold in your hand. The one you can't see was bigger. For almost the entire human story, home meant other people. Hunter-gatherer groups raised children together. Researchers who study living forager communities estimate that up to half of all direct childcare was done by someone other than the parents. Grandmothers, older siblings, other adults in the band. Every parent had hands to pass the child to. Always. The permanent home took all of them away, slowly, over thousands of years. 2 adults, a locked door, children raised with none of that net around them, no grandmother in the next room, no group of adults sharing the daily weight of it. Just one small unit, expected to carry the whole thing on its own. No human group anywhere in our history was ever built to run that way. And the data shows what came next. Loneliness has climbed step for step with the spread of private, separated housing. Parents raising young kids on their own are among the most stressed people researchers have ever measured. Older adults cut off from a community lose cognitive ground faster. So, when you lock the door tonight and feel that thin, hard to name unease in the quiet, that's the second fear the door built. Your ancestors feared the dark on the other side of the wall. You're feeling the absence of everyone the wall now keeps out. Same wall, opposite ache. Some people are trying to undo it, designing homes that share kitchens and gardens with neighbors, keeping the privacy but rebuilding the network your biology still expects to find. Whether that spreads, nobody knows yet. What we do know is that we're the first humans to live this far apart, and the first to feel exactly this. Your ancestors spent millions of years asleep in trees, terrified of the dark below them. They came down, lit a fire, and turned that fire into the first wall. Then they built a city of thousands with no streets and no rulers, and smoothed plaster over the walls for centuries so that no one could ever pull ahead. And then, slowly, the walls stopped facing the dark. They started facing each other. The lock on your front door is only a few hundred years old. What it shuts out at night is millions of years older than that. And for almost the entire span of human existence, it was the one thing nobody would have dreamed of locking out. The people sleeping close enough to touch. We kept making the walls stronger, and somewhere in there, we forgot they were supposed to hold us together, not keep us apart.